When my baby smiles at me, we take the Geo and feel so free. Whoa, in my Geo.
The new 1990 Geo Prism sports a 16-valve engine with electronic fuel injection standard and the highest horsepower in its class. Compared to Honda Accord LX, Prism gives you more and costs over $2,100 less. And save even more with $400 cash back or 2.9 financing at your local Virginia Carolina Chevrolet Geo dealer.
You love your Geo.
WAVY TV 10.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Terry Zahn.
And I'm Diana Morgan. The Republican race for governor reached the boiling point in Norfolk tonight.
Diana, the scene was the candidates' final debate. Voters will choose which of the three candidates they want to represent the party at the polls on June 13th. Night Scene reporter Stephanie Taylor was at tonight's debate. She joins us now from the newsroom. Stephanie, sounds like it had all the makings of an interesting night.
Well, Terry, it was a very interesting night, and it should be a very interesting election. If tonight was any indication, this campaigning will only get nastier. Three Republican candidates, Marshall Coleman, Stan Paris, and Paul Tribble. It was their last chance to prove themselves and take potshots at each other. They got right to business.
Your numbers just aren't right on the Reagan support. You've said Stan Paris is one of the least most supportive of President Reagan, and that's not true. He's near the bottom, but actually you're at the very bottom, Paul.
We're quoted as saying, quote, sometimes good people do bad things. Well, the president needed your help then, Paul, not your criticism.
Tribble took the worst beating, but refrained from fighting back.
These guys are way far behind. They have to attack. They have to be negative.
All of them spoke out on improving education and transportation, on taxes, and most notably, the drug problem.
I think we've got to have a drug kingpin statute that talks about defining someone who is really a random murderer, a monster that is making money off the ruined lives of young people.
As governor, I would first establish a tough anti-drug strike force, which would reach beyond the state authorities to include the federal and local authorities as well.
Education efforts to teach our young people that they are frying their brains with this poison, and we have got to stop it.
And in between comments, there was a bit of color.
I am against the Coleman Bridge, even if its name is Coleman, Marshall. That'd be almost enough to have me be against it to begin with, but nonetheless.
It's decrepit, not working very well. Maybe we should call it the Paris Bridge instead of the Coleman Bridge.
All three of these men by now know how they stack up against each other. But whoever makes it past the primary has a tough Democratic opponent waiting on the other side. Paul Tribble is currently leading in the polls, but there is 1 month left, and Terry, as you know, those things can easily change.
They certainly can. Stephanie, I'm kind of curious, how do the candidates themselves feel about going through a primary like this?
Well, they all said they liked it. It gives them a chance to bring their case to the people a little bit more. It's always tough to bring people out to the polls for a primary election, though, and that will be the key factor for this race for the winner and the losers.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. Stephanie Taylor, our Night Scene reporter from the newsroom tonight. Diana?
If the candidates for governor had their way, they'd tell the Department of Transportation to change its mind about the Coleman Bridge. There is speculation the department will delay its March decision to put tolls on the bridge. That follows a lot of political pressure from state leaders.